welcome back to the channel, or welcome to the channel. Today, as you'll seen from the title, I am carrying on my beginner series, and today is how to groom, which I thought would probably be the next video in this series. I think I'm going to use Miss Knightley, who's behind me currently weaving because she thinks it's time to go out. So I don't know how much of a good model you're going to be, Kira. Probably not the best, but we're going to try, and we are slightly losing light, as you can probably see by the sky, which apparently I can't show you. I'm losing a bit of light, so I need to get on. But yeah, how to groom quickly, the importance of grooming. Mainly do grooming either, obviously, if we're going to a competition, it kind of leads more into bathing, but when riding, it is, I'm not going to say essential, because through summer when they don't get as dirty and stuff, you don't have to groom, but definitely through winter it's pretty much essential to groom your horse, because if they have mud or anything around where your tack is going, if you don't groom that off, then it can potentially rub, can potentially make them sore and stuff, all stuff which can be easily avoided with grooming. It's also nice to have a bit of bonding time with your horse before you get on, or any other time that you fancy grooming them. But yes, subject pony isn't looking too happy about it, are you, Kira? Oh, she's gone for a wee, that's nice. Oh no, got a poo. But she's having a wee. I think you need to be the subject pony, don't you? Look at the state of you. You're going straight back out in the field. There's no point, and you're being clipped when I come back. I'm going on holiday. Hence, we have two very fluffy ponies. Kira isn't. Kira's the only one that's clipped because she's been competing. But Phoenix is also a massive fluff ball. But yes. So I better get on, because I also need to sort out all their rugging and everything before I took them out for 10 days. And I have got people checking on them. And I've got 2 things to pay. Anyway, this isn't relevant to this video. So I'm going to tie her up somewhere where she'll stand and show you how I groom. Like, I do call it a how-to, but I guess it's not really a how-to, because like if you're doing your pony club or BHS tests, I think it is, then this isn't exactly how they'd mark you, I don't think. I haven't done them, and this is more just like from, it's called the beginner series, it's more from a beginner's point of view, how to groom. Don't break your rug, Kira. So yeah, I'm going to get the naughty pony out and get on with it before I lose light. I'm just trying to check on angles. I'm just going to cover the screen just in case there is wind. Kira is behind me. I will change your angle because you definitely can't see her. I'm just going to whip her rugs off, because obviously you want your horse to be pretty much naked, so any boots, anything like that, take off. You want to see everything, and yeah, just take everything off. You obviously can't groom with a rug on, and boots off, so you can see any mud or any cuts, etc. It allows you to have a really good look at your horse, check that everything's in line. So I'm gonna whip everything off her and then get on with it. Phoenix, don't be rude. Phoenix is in the background, as you can see. So here she is. She is actually clipped, hence I've left her rug on one half, just because it is very cold, as you can see by the colour of my fingers. It is cold. So usually if I was riding, I would take them to the other yard and wash their legs off, because I am going to very much struggle to get all that dirt off. Show you. I probably won't be able to, but yeah, usually I'll just wash the lower half, probably from about here downwards, because when the mud is wet, which it mostly is on the bottom half of their legs, it's a lot easier just to wash it off. If it's dry, I don't wash it off, because I think it's easier to brush it off. But yeah, it's just, I guess, personal preference, but generally that is a lot easier. So the first thing I do when grooming, sorry, I've got a grooming bucket, but it's got some boots in it at the moment, rather than a grooming box, because I just carry my brushes back and forth over here because it's not very often I groom over here. But the first thing I do when grooming, I think generally it is the first thing most people do, and apparently I can't find it. I was going to say I definitely put it in. First thing most people do is a hoof pick. Now, I don't really use the brushes on these. I never really have. I kind of just get all the mud out with this. Some people prefer to use a brush as well, just to get every last bit of mud out, but I don't. Now, hoof picking, I'd say, is one of the more essential things when grooming, just because they can have, Phoenix, you're really naughty, aren't you? They can have stones and stuff in their feet, and that can make them a bit footy or even lame, when it could be a really easy fix just to pick their feet out. And it's actually quite satisfying, isn't it, Kira? Kira says, get me out, I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to pick out her feet. Yeah? Yeah. So when you pick your feet out, I'm sorry you can't see me, but you can see what I'm doing. Generally you run your hand down the back of their legs, and some will pick up for you. If not, just pull their feathers a bit, not too hard obviously. And then generally you're meant to hold your hoof with your inside hand and pick with your outside hand, but I find it really difficult to do that. I just think I am right-handed, but most people can do it. I just find it really difficult, so I do cross over. You're not really meant to. I think it's easier to get out of the way if you're doing it the normal way round. And then you just always push down. Sorry you can't really see, I'll try and get a better angle on a different hoof. Push down, avoid their frog, which is the V in the middle, because that is like, they can feel that, and if you start poking around in that, it could hurt them. So yeah, you just leave that bit. It'll be a little V in the middle, and it's a bit softer than the other part. And yeah, just get all the mud out and any rocks, because that is the main issue when hoof picking. Let's try and set you up so you can right. Kira, you're gonna have to work with me. There we go. Yeah, so if I pick it out, try not to fling any mud at you. I just go down either side, leaving the V, which you'll see in a second once I move all this mud out. And just there, that V there. Just a bit more. You want to leave that alone because that is the bit that they can feel. Can you see the V? Yeah, then some people. So I'm just going to do her back too as well. Obviously, when you're doing the backs, just be a little bit more careful because obviously they can kick out and stuff. So maybe stand a bit further out. Just, yeah, you know your horse generally, unless you've got a new horse. If they can kick out, then just be a bit more cautious and like be wary that you might have to get out of the way quickly. But yeah, I'm going to pick out her backs and then move on to my next step. So the next step I do when grooming is like all the body brushing. There's various different body brushes you use. So that is what I do next. I'm going to whip her rug off quickly. Now I'm actually getting on with it. She's actually still got her Halloween decorations on her bum. If you watch my Halloween show jumping video, I clipped all things into her bum. But anyway, next thing when grooming is curry combing. Now there's a few types of curry comb. Here I've just got a plastic one which looks like that, and a rubber one. It's a bit dirty, but just like that. And there's also the I think originally they were made by magic brushes. I'll insert a picture of one here or something. They are really good for getting mud out, but I could not find mine to save the life. So I haven't got that one on me. But all you do is make sure there's no rubbish in it, put it on your hand and just do circular motions over their whole body. I'd usually start at the neck, but you can't see her neck. I kind of work my way from their head down, but that's just, there's no ruling on that, personal preference. But yeah, I just go in circles all the way along their body, and this just really lifts. Did you hear that whistle? Not just me. a whistle. Yeah, this just lifts any dirt out. It's quite good at getting dirt out because she's pitched. It's quite difficult to get the mud off without water. And especially their back ends, when they're not clipped, it really lifts the dust because their back ends and on their backs is often quite dusty, which this is really good for. As you can see, little spikes on the end, actually you might not be able to see, have got little bits of dust on them, so it is lifting the dust out of her coat. So I'm going to go and do the other side, shall we? Kira's like, why am I being rude for no reason? I'm going in the field in a minute for a video, Kira. Yeah, do you not like the YouTuber, Archie? Probably not. Anyway, I'll go and do her other side. While I'm thinking about it, their legs, now I will brush probably down to their knee. Any lower I tend to leave alone and do with a sponge with water, and wash it rather than brush it, because obviously the lower parts of the legs, there's a lot more tendons, bones, ligaments, etc. Pixie, where are you off to? More exposed than on the upper half of the leg, so you just have to be a bit more careful. Hence I don't really brush past it because it's uncomfortable for them, and if you are doing so, please just be really careful. Yeah, where are you off to? Hey, that's a nice camera angle, Kira. So that's her curry combed now, and then the next step is brushing her body. So you have two types of brush. There is a dandy brush, Phoenix, which is what I'm going to use. It's one with the thicker bristles and they're a little bit longer, but then there's also a body brush with much shorter bristles, and this is a lot softer and like floppier. Clear nightly, don't run over. Jesus Christ, it needs to be flying. It's your fault. This is more for like stabled horses that are clean and you are just brushing more for shiny or stuff. This is to actually get dirt off, which is what I'm doing today. So I will be using this one. Then I also have like this is also called a dandy brush, but it's a lot longer. This I tend to use if I'm putting spray on, like shiny spray or something. This really just gives them that bit of extra shine. Phoenix. At the end of grooming. So all I do with this one is literally just follow where I just have been with the curry comb. Phoenix, can you stop? You're ruining it. And literally just brush her whole body, going in the direction that the hair is growing. Not against, because that's a bit uncomfortable for them. And again, I'm kind of working from head to bottom. This is her clipping, if you wanted to see it. It's got a spider on the other side. And again, I go a little bit further down the leg with this brush just because it's a lot less than, it's nowhere near as hard as a rubber curry comb, obviously because it's bristles rather than, oh look at that nice bit of mud. So yeah, I just go across her whole body, pressing down somewhat hard just so it is lifting the dirt down, but obviously not too hard, especially in her more sensitive areas. So the next step, if I can push her back a little bit because you're right in the way. So that is kind of like her body brush. That's as far as I go with brushing their body. If they were competing, I'd use some coat spray to make them shine, but we're not. You are going out in the field, so we're definitely not doing that. But next I would do her mane and tail. This is my mane and tail brush. If you're plaiting, you might use a comb, but this is generally what I use. Quite like a hairbrush. Girls, I've just got noses all around me. You can't see, but Phoenix is on my forehead as well. This is crazy. So yeah, I just use that. If their tail's really knotty, I'd use a mane and tail detangler. I never really use mane and tail detangler in the manes. I never need to. Their manes are never matted enough for me to use them, but mine have all got short manes. If your horse has a longer mane, then you might want to use it in the manes as well. And also for plaiting and stuff, I don't want to be using mane and tail detangler because it makes it slippy and makes plaiting very difficult to do, and they fall out a lot easier. But anyway, I brush her mane and tail. I'm going to do her mane first, which is quite self-explanatory. See from there? Yeah, you can. And literally, if there's really bad bits, I'll kind of hold her hair at the top so I'm not yanking on her too hard. So yeah, if there's really bad bits of mud, which I can feel that she's pulling away from a little bit, then I will hold the hair so it's not pulling on her too much. And yeah, I just do this across the whole mane. See, Kira and Nightly, you haven't been too dirty apart from this, have you? No. And sometimes I'll just lift the mane up and do the underlayer because there can be more mud in the underlayer that I'm not getting by just brushing the top. Phoenix, you're not helping. Really not helping. Pushing Kira's head down so no one can see. Girlies, you're really not helping me with this video, are you? Can you see? Oh, now we've gone the other way. With her tail, which you can actually see, the top I obviously don't do much on because it generally doesn't need brushing. But then feet, I've actually chosen the horse with the thickest and knottiest tail. But I just hold it up here so I'm not yanking against them. I'm kind of taking a pull. And some people split it up into sections. I find it easier to just do the whole lot together. If there's the odd bit sticking out, then I'll do that by itself. But if it's really bad, like it isn't shocking today, but you start at the bottom and work your way up. Also, quickly address, I am not stood directly behind Kira, but I am quite close. If it was a horse that I didn't know, or probably one of the babies, I'd stand right to the side and do it. Just avoid the risk of them kicking out at you. It's better to be safe than sorry. And obviously their back ends are dangerous. You're taught that from horses from the start. So yeah, but Kira, I've had her for 4 years now, and she has never kicked in her life. Well, she's kicked another horse out in the field when they're fighting over food, but she has never ever even pulled a face really at me on the ground. So yeah, I trust her in that way, hence I'm not completely stood to the side. But if you don't know the horse, if it's a new horse, or even if it's a baby, just stand out the way because it's better to be safe than sorry. That is how I'm going to leave her tail. I've kind of shown you what I do. I'm not going mental because I'm literally just doing this for the sake of you guys. This horse is being chucked straight in a field after this, so all this work is going to be undone. So anyway, next step. So this is kind of like the last essential bit of grooming is, are you going to keep moving because I've got a nice angle here? Is a face brush. Now I have got a face brush somewhere. I definitely brought one here. Now this is one of my face brushes. Now this, I don't know if you can tell, is so soft. So I won't be using this on Kira, and obviously it's a little one. Her face, it's smaller than my hand. I won't be using this on Kira because it will just do nothing. But if they were stabled or if they were really clean and I was doing it more for the fact of shine or anything, I would use this one. But I'm actually going to use this one. Now, sometimes the face brushes are smaller and more like that shape. Now, this was actually advertised as a face brush, but it's a bit bigger. So just be a bit more careful if you're using a bigger brush on them. And yeah, obviously it's their face, so just be really gentle. Now, I'm sure Kira's not going to love. Phoenix, you're blocking the whole camera. Right, go back. So, yeah, just really gentle. Some horses don't like Phoenix. You're causing issues now. You're touching like around their ears and stuff. Don't go mental with their ears if they don't like it. There's no point angering them for no reason. So yeah, just really gentle everywhere. You want it to be a nice experience because obviously they can be head shy and you don't know what's happened to them in the past sometimes, depending how long you've had them. Girls, why none of you will leave me alone? What's the problem? Right, so that is pretty much my grooming done. Just last thing I thought I'd quickly mention. I think it was Pixie or Phoenix I was grooming. Then at the end, and obviously if their hooves were clean, which Kira's aren't today, I would always put this on. Now it is like hoof oil, it's called the NAF Farrier solution. Just because Phoenix and Pixie get really cracked feet, and this I've really found does help preserve them, keep them moisturised, and has helped their hooves massively. And then also if I was competing or going out somewhere where I wanted them to look nice, I would also chuck some proper black hoof oil on them just to make their hooves look nice, because well, you're looking pretty, don't we? Yes. Right, I'll just give you a little video of Kira. Mind the dirty hooves. If I had a hose pipe, they would be clean. So yeah, if I had a hose pipe, I would be grooming them as well, washing them off. Girlies, you've gone from loving to angry ladies. Don't bite her. So this is Kira all groomed. Phoenix, we don't want your angry faces in it. No. So as you can see, loads of mud is out her mane, and she's generally a lot cleaner. As you can see, it's also getting dark. Yeah, just her hooves are muddy, but tops of her legs are a lot better, and she would now be ready to get on and ride, wouldn't you, Kira? Because there's no mud in like places where the girth goes or bridle or anything like that, because that's when it comes off. Yeah, that is how I groom, and kind of a how to groom for beginners. I hope it has been somewhat useful. I'm sorry if it's not been the best because I haven't had the facilities. It's getting late and I'm going on holiday tomorrow. Yes, Miss Nightly. Naughty Nightly. But yeah, I'm going to get these horses rugged up because I don't want you getting cold, Kirs, and get them chucked out for the night. Make you happy, girls, because you're very angry at each other right now, aren't you? So yeah, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it has been somewhat useful, and yeah, I will see you next time. Bye bye.